Don't look at me like that unless you want me to crash. That was the first stupid thing I said to Noah Bennett, and honestly, I still don't know how I survived the silence afterward. His hand was hovering near the emergency brake. His body turned slightly toward me in the passenger seat, and I had both hands locked around the steering wheel like the car was trying to escape. We were in the empty parking lot behind a Kroger, late afternoon, with shopping carts rattling somewhere near the entrance and my brother's best friend sitting way too close to me. Noah didn't laugh right away. That was the problem. He just looked at me for half a second longer than normal, one eyebrow lifting like he was deciding whether to let me off easy. Then his mouth twitched. "Ethan," he said, calm as ever, "the car is in park." I looked down. It was. Of course it was. My face got hot so fast I wanted to open the door and roll onto the asphalt. I knew that. "Sure you did." He leaned back, one arm resting against the window, his dark work shirt still smelling faintly like motor oil and soap. He had come straight from the garage, because apparently my brother Logan thought the best person to teach me how to drive was the one guy I had been trying not to notice for years. Noah Bennett, 27. Logan's friend since high school. The guy who showed up at our house on Sundays with takeout, fixed things without being asked, and somehow made a plain gray t-shirt look like a personal attack. I was 22 and still didn't have my license. Not because I couldn't learn. I just kept putting it off. Work was close. Campus had buses. Logan drove when he felt generous. But then he got a new job with longer hours, tossed his keys on the kitchen counter, and said, Noah offered to help. Don't make it weird. I almost choked on my coffee. Why would I make it weird? Logan barely looked up from his phone. Because you make everything weird. Great. So now I was sitting in Noah's old Honda Accord, trying to prove I was a normal adult while my pulse acted like I was about to rob a bank. Okay. Noah tapped the dashboard lightly. Foot on the brake. I did it too hard. The car jerked even though we weren't moving. Easy. His voice dropped softer. You don't have to fight it. I swallowed. I'm not fighting it. You're definitely fighting it. He reached over to point at my hands. And you're gripping the wheel like it owes you money. I laughed before I could stop myself, short and nervous. That helped for about 2 seconds. Then he moved closer. Not much. Just enough to show me where my hands should be. Here, he murmured, and his fingers touched the outside of my wrist. My whole body went still. It wasn't a big touch. It wasn't anything. He was teaching me. That was all. But his hand was warm, steady, and way too careful, like he noticed the second I stopped breathing. Relax, he said. I tried. I really did. But the word came out useless in my head, because Noah was close enough that I could see a tiny scar along his knuckle and the faint tiredness under his eyes from working all day. He adjusted my left hand on the wheel, then my right. Slow. Normal. Completely normal. Except when he pulled away, it felt like the inside of the car got colder. Good, he said. I stared straight ahead. Can we drive now? His quiet laugh filled the space between us. Yeah, put it in drive. I did what he said. The car rolled forward, barely 5 miles per hour, but my stomach still dropped like we were merging onto the highway. Noah watched the lot ahead, relaxed, one hand ready but not controlling me. That's it. Keep it smooth. I nodded too many times. Smooth. Right. You always this nervous? Only when someone is judging me. I'm not judging you. I glanced at him without meaning to. He was already looking at me. Not smiling this time. Just looking. My chest tightened. I snapped my eyes back to the parking lot. You're Logan's friend. That basically makes it worse. A pause. Then, softer. I'm not here for Logan. My foot slipped slightly on the gas. The car jumped. Noah's hand shot out. Not grabbing me, just hovering near mine. Brake. I hit it. Too hard. We both lurched forward. The seatbelt caught me, and for 1 second, everything went quiet except my breathing. Noah turned toward me. You okay? I nodded, embarrassed and dizzy for no reason. Yeah, fine. He didn't move away right away. His eyes searched my face like he didn't fully believe me. I told myself it meant nothing. He was just being nice. He was just my brother's friend. He was just teaching me how not to kill us in a grocery store parking lot. Then Noah's hand settled gently over mine on the steering wheel. Try again, he said. I've got you. And that was the first time I realized driving lessons might be the least dangerous part of this. The second lesson started with Noah handing me an iced coffee and acting like that was a normal thing to do. You look like you needed this last time. I stood on the curb outside my house, keys in one hand, coffee in the other, trying not to make a big deal out of it. It was just coffee. People bought coffee. Friends bought coffee. My brother's friends bought coffee for people they almost watched crash into a shopping cart corral. Totally normal. How do you even know what I drink? Noah leaned against the passenger side of his Honda, sleeves pushed up, hair still damp like he had showered after work and driven straight over. You always get iced coffee when Logan drags you to the diner. My chest did something stupid. You noticed that? His eyes flicked up to mine. Hard not to. There it was again. That tiny little pause after his words. The one that gave my brain just enough room to ruin my life. I looked down at the cup like the answer might be floating under the ice. No sugar. Extra cold foam. Exactly how I liked it. Thanks, I managed. Do not thank me yet. Today we are leaving the parking lot. I almost handed the coffee back. Absolutely not. Noah smiled, opening the passenger door. Absolutely yes. I have driven one time. You drove in circles for 40 minutes. Exactly. I mastered circles. Congratulations. America has roads. I hated that he made me laugh when I was trying to panic. Logan came out onto the porch right then, eating chips out of the bag like he lived in a frat house. Do not let him hit a mailbox. Great pep talk, I called back. Logan pointed at Noah. Seriously, my mom likes those mailboxes. Noah gave him a lazy salute. I will protect the mailboxes with my life. I rolled my eyes and got in before either of them could make it worse. The car smelled the same as before. Clean seats, old pine air freshener, faint motor oil, and Noah's coffee in the cup holder beside mine. 2 cups, 2 straws. For some reason, that felt weirdly intimate. I told myself to stop being insane. We started in the same empty lot, just to warm up. Noah was patient, which somehow made everything harder. He never grabbed the wheel, never snapped. He just watched the road, then me, then the road again, like he trusted me more than I trusted myself. Ease off the brake. I am easing. Ethan, I am emotionally easing. He laughed under his breath. That does not count. After 10 minutes, he made me turn out onto a quiet neighborhood street. My hands went stiff immediately. Okay, this is illegal. You have a learner's permit. Still feels illegal. You are going 22 miles per hour. That is basically flying. Noah shifted slightly toward me, his knee almost brushing the center console. You are doing fine. I wanted to believe him. I really did. But every parked car looked too close. Every driveway looked like a threat. And every time Noah glanced at me, I forgot what side of the road I was on, which felt like an important thing to remember. At a red light near the gas station, I finally let out a breath. My fingers ached from gripping the wheel. Noah noticed, of course. He noticed everything. Hands. I blinked. What? He nodded toward the steering wheel. You are doing it again. Doing what? Instead of answering, he reached over. His fingers touched mine, light at first, then gently peeled my grip loose one finger at a time. My throat went dry. The light was still red. The whole world outside kept moving. Cars passing in the opposite lane, someone walking a dog on the sidewalk, a kid bouncing a basketball in a driveway. But inside the car, everything narrowed down to his hand over mine. You do not have to hold on that hard, he murmured. I forced a laugh. That sounds like driving advice. Noah looked at me then. Really looked. Maybe it is. I did not know what to say. My heart started pounding, and the worst part was he was close enough to notice. The light turned green. Neither of us moved for half a second. A horn tapped behind us, quick and annoyed. Noah pulled his hand back first. Green. Right. My voice cracked. I hated myself. I drove forward, pretending the inside of my chest was not completely wrecked. A few minutes later, when we pulled into the grocery store lot again, Noah sat quietly beside me instead of jumping out. Better today, he said. You only almost killed us once. Progress. Big progress. I smiled despite myself, then made the mistake of looking over. He was already watching me, his expression softer than it should have been. Why do you do that? I asked before I could stop myself. His eyebrows drew together. Do what? Look at me like you were trying to figure something out. The car went quiet. Too quiet. Noah's hand rested near the gear shift, close to mine, but not touching. His mouth opened like he had an answer, then closed again. For the first time since I had known him, Noah Bennett looked unsure. Finally, he glanced out the windshield and gave a small, almost nervous smile. Maybe I am. And I told myself it meant nothing. But I kept thinking about it all night. The third lesson almost did not happen because Logan decided to make it everyone's business. I was halfway down the stairs when I heard him in the kitchen, talking way too loud for no reason. Your boyfriend is here. My foot missed the last step. Not completely, just enough to make me grab the railing like an idiot. Logan looked over with a mouth full of cereal, grinning like he had been waiting all morning for that. Sorry, driving instructor. My face got hot. You are 30% less funny than you think you are. That still leaves me pretty funny. Noah stood by the back door with his car keys in hand, and for one horrible second, I could not tell if he had heard. Then he looked at me. Calm. Quiet. Not smiling exactly. Just looking. Ready? That was all he said. No joke. No easy comeback. No, tell your brother to shut up. Somehow that made it worse. Outside, the morning air was cold enough to make my hands stiff around the coffee Noah had brought again. Same order. Same cup. Same little black straw. He did not mention it, which made it feel even more personal. We got in the car, and I waited for him to tease me about Logan. He did not. He checked his mirror, buckled his seatbelt, and nodded toward the driveway. Today we are practicing left turns. That sounds fake. Left turns are unfortunately real. I pulled onto the street, trying to focus on the road and not the way the word boyfriend was still sitting between us like a third person in the car. For 10 minutes, everything was normal. Painfully normal. Stop signs. Turn signals. Noah telling me to slow down before corners. Me pretending I was not hyper-aware of his elbow on the center console. Then we hit the red light near the diner, the long one that always made the whole street feel paused. Noah glanced over. You got quiet. I am concentrating. You concentrate louder than this. I let out a weak laugh. That does not make sense. It does with you. I looked ahead at the light. Logan is an idiot. Noah did not answer right away. That tiny silence crawled up my neck. He jokes like that with everyone. I added quickly. I know. So what? My fingers tightened on the wheel. So it is not weird. Noah turned slightly toward me. I could feel it more than see it. I did not say it was. The light changed. I drove too fast through the turn, and Noah's hand moved toward the dashboard out of reflex. Easy. I am easy. The second the words left my mouth, I wanted to disappear. Noah pressed his lips together like he was fighting a smile. You sure about that? My stomach dropped. I meant I am driving easy. I know what you meant. But the way he said it made me think maybe he did not. Or maybe he did, and that was worse. We ended up in a quiet business park that was mostly empty on Saturday mornings. Noah had me practice parking between two faded yellow lines. I messed it up 3 times. The 4th time, I got too close to the curb, and he leaned over to guide the wheel. Stop. Stop right there. I hit the brake. He reached across, his hand covering mine again, turning the wheel gently back. Only this time, he did not pull away when the car stopped moving. He looked out the windshield, checking the angle, his shoulder almost touching mine. See? You overcorrect when you panic. I could barely hear him over my pulse. That sounds like more than driving advice. His hand went still over mine. The air changed. Not dramatically. Not like in movies. Just enough that both of us knew something had slipped. Noah turned his head. Close. Too close for a lesson. His eyes moved over my face, and all my stupid little excuses started falling apart at once. He was not just being nice. Not exactly. Nice did not feel like this. Nice did not make the inside of a Honda go silent in the middle of an empty parking lot. Then my phone buzzed in the cup holder. Logan's name lit up the screen. Noah saw it at the same time I did. We both moved back like we had been caught doing something wrong, even though all he had done was help me park. I grabbed the phone too fast. Yeah. Logan's voice came through the speaker because of course I accidentally answered it wrong. You alive? Mom wants to know if you and Noah are coming back for lunch. Noah stared straight ahead, jaw tight, one hand resting on his knee. Yeah, I said, voice uneven. We are alive. Cool. Tell your boyfriend not to drive like my grandma. I froze. The car went dead quiet. Logan laughed at his own joke on the other end. I did not. Noah did not either. After I hung up, I stared at the dashboard, waiting for Noah to make it normal. He always made things normal. This time, he just looked out the window and rubbed his thumb slowly along the edge of his keychain. We should head back. My chest tightened. Yeah. I put the car in drive, but before I pulled out, Noah's voice dropped low beside me. For the record, I do not hate when he says it. My foot slipped off the brake. The car rolled forward an inch, and my heart nearly stopped. Noah reached for the emergency brake with one hand, calm but not unaffected. Then he looked at me, and for once, there was no joke hiding in his face. "Ethan," he murmured, "breathe." But that was the problem. I could not. By Sunday night, I had replayed Noah's words so many times they barely sounded real anymore. For the record, I do not hate when he says it. That was not something a guy said by accident. Not with that voice. Not while looking at me like the air between us had gotten too thin. Still, I did what I always did. I explained it away. Maybe he meant the joke was funny. Maybe he liked messing with Logan. Maybe Noah Bennett was just the kind of person who could say dangerous things and sleep perfectly fine afterward. I was not. I slept maybe 3 hours. Monday evening, he picked me up after work like nothing had happened. Same Honda. Same faded pine air freshener. Same Noah, one hand on the wheel, dark hair pushed back, garage shirt changed for a plain black hoodie. But something was different. He did not bring coffee this time. He brought a bottle of water and a pack of gum and set both in the cup holder on my side. "You chew through your lip when you are nervous." I stared at the gum. "You track that now." His mouth twitched. Hard not to. There it was again. Hard not to. Like noticing me was easy. Like it happened without effort. I got in, buckled my seatbelt, and tried to act like my chest was not doing that tight, stupid thing again. We drove farther than usual, out past the grocery stores and gas stations, toward a stretch of road by the lake where the houses got spaced out and the traffic thinned. Noah said I needed practice with curves. I told him that sounded like something from a police report. He laughed, but it was quieter than normal. For a while, the lesson actually felt like a lesson. He corrected my speed, reminded me to check my mirrors, told me I was drifting too close to the shoulder. Then rain started tapping the windshield, soft at first, just enough to blur the glass. "Pull into that overlook," he told me. I did badly. The tires crunched over gravel, and I stopped facing the dark water instead of the road. The rain picked up fast, turning the windshield into a moving sheet of silver. Noah reached over and flicked the wipers higher. Our hands bumped near the controls. Neither of us moved. It lasted maybe 2 seconds. It felt like a full minute. "Sorry," I muttered. "You always apologize when nothing is wrong." I looked at him then. Big mistake. The car was dim except for the dashboard lights, green and blue across his face. He looked tired. Not from work this time. From holding something back. "Maybe something is wrong," I said, and I hated how small my voice sounded. Noah's hand was still close to mine, resting near the gear shift. "With the car?" "No," the rain filled the silence. My pulse started climbing. He turned toward me slowly, his expression careful. "Ethan." Just my name. That was all. But it hit harder than it should have. I let out a breath and looked down at my hands. "You keep doing this." "Doing what?" "Making things feel like they mean something, then acting like they do not." His jaw flexed. For once, Noah did not have a quick answer. "I am trying not to make your life complicated." I laughed once, but it came out wrong. "That is funny, because you are doing a terrible job." His eyes dropped to my mouth for half a second. Maybe I imagined it. Maybe I did not. Either way, my whole body went still. Noah noticed. Of course he did. He leaned closer, just a little, like he was checking whether I would move away. I did not. I should have. Logan's friend. My driving instructor. The guy who was not supposed to look at me like that in a parked car while rain blurred the world outside. But I stayed. His hand lifted, slow enough that I could stop him if I wanted. His fingers brushed the back of mine. Not holding. Not yet. Just there. Warm. Careful. "Tell me to stop," he murmured. I swallowed. "I do not want to." His breath changed. Mine did too. For 1 second, I thought he was going to close the distance. Not all the way. Maybe just enough to make everything undeniable. Then headlights swept across the windshield. A truck pulled into the overlook behind us. Too close, bright beams filling the car. Noah moved back first. Fast. Like waking up. I turned forward, heart pounding so hard it hurt. The truck idled for a moment, then rolled past and back onto the road. Nothing happened. Nobody saw anything. But the damage was already done. Noah rubbed a hand over his face, then stared out at the rain. "I should take you home." I wanted to argue. I wanted to ask what almost happened. Instead, I nodded, because my voice did not feel safe. The drive back was quiet. Not awkward. Worse. Loaded. When he pulled into my driveway, Logan's truck was there, porch light on, the house looking painfully normal. I reached for the door handle, but Noah spoke before I opened it. "Ethan." I looked back. His hand tightened around the steering wheel. "This is not nothing." My chest went still. For a second, I forgot the rain, the house, Logan, everything. Then he looked away like saying even that much had cost him. Good night. I got out of the car with my legs unsteady and my hands still warm where his fingers had touched mine. And as I walked toward the porch, I realized I had no idea how to pretend anymore. Logan noticed something was off before I even made it to the kitchen the next morning. That was the annoying thing about brothers. They could miss a sink full of dishes for 3 days, but the second your face looked even slightly haunted, suddenly they were detectives. You look terrible. I opened the fridge just to have something to do. Good morning to you too. He leaned against the counter, eating a banana like he had personally solved something. Late night. My hand tightened around the orange juice carton. It rained. Traffic was slow. Noah said you did good. I turned too fast. You talked to Noah? Logan gave me a look. He is my friend, Ethan. I am allowed to talk to him. Right. Obviously. Normal. Everything was normal. Except my skin still remembered Noah's fingers brushing mine in that car. Except his voice kept looping in my head. This is not nothing. Logan tossed the banana peel toward the trash and missed. He is coming by the garage later. I might swing over after work. My stomach dropped. Why? Because my brakes are making a weird sound. Maybe your car just hates you. Probably. He narrowed his eyes slightly. Why are you acting weird? I forced a laugh. It sounded awful. Because you are interrogating me about brakes at 8 in the morning. Logan kept looking at me. Not joking now. Did something happen during the lesson? For half a second, I forgot how to lie. Not because I wanted to tell him everything. I did not. I could not even tell myself everything yet. But the question hit too close, and my face must have done something stupid, because Logan's expression shifted. Ethan. Nothing happened. Too fast. Way too fast. His eyebrows lifted. Okay. I grabbed a glass from the cabinet and pretended I was very focused on juice. I just hate driving. You passed 3 left turns yesterday. Thank you for tracking my growth. He snorted, but he did not fully drop it. I could feel him watching me as I left the kitchen, and that made the whole house feel smaller. By noon, I had convinced myself I needed space. From Noah. From Logan. From the stupid memory of rain on a windshield, and almost. Then my phone buzzed. Noah. Just his name made my chest tighten. You free at 6? We should practice highway merging before your test. I stared at the message long enough for the screen to dim. Highway merging. Sure. Very casual. Very practical. Definitely not 2 men pretending they had not almost crossed a line in a parked car. I typed, I might be busy. Deleted it. Typed, maybe tomorrow. Deleted that too. Finally, I wrote, I can meet you at the garage. His reply came after almost a minute. Good. I hated the minute. I hated that I noticed it. The garage smelled like rubber, oil, and hot pavement when I got there after work. Noah was under the hood of a red pickup, forearms smudged, hair falling forward. He looked up when the bell over the side door jingled, and for 1 second, his whole face softened. Then he seemed to remember where we were. He straightened, wiped his hands on a rag, and looked past me. Logan with you? That hurt more than it should have. No, okay. Just okay. Careful. Controlled. Like we had both agreed to become strangers without talking about it. Before I could say anything, a woman stepped out from the office, maybe in her 30s, wearing a denim jacket and holding a clipboard. Noah, your 6 o'clock is here? Then she saw me and smiled. Oh, you must be Ethan. I blinked. Yeah. Her smile widened just a little. He talks about you. Noah's head snapped toward her. Maya. What? She looked completely innocent. Driving lessons. I meant driving lessons. My ears got hot. Noah's jaw tightened, but he did not deny it. That was the worst part. Maya walked past us toward the front desk, but not before throwing one more look over her shoulder. The kind of look that said she knew more than she should. The garage suddenly felt too public. Too bright. Too full of people who might notice the space between us changing shape. Noah grabbed his keys from the workbench. Let us go. Outside, I followed him to the Honda, my pulse already uneven. So you talk about me? He opened the driver's door, then paused. Do not do that. Do what? Make it sound easy. His voice was low, almost swallowed by the traffic on the street. I stepped closer without meaning to. Is it not? Noah looked at me then, and the answer was all over his face. No, nothing about this was easy. Not me. Not him. Not Logan. Not the fact that his coworker had noticed after probably 2 minutes of watching us stand near each other. He exhaled and glanced toward the garage window, where Maya was very badly pretending not to look. People notice things. I swallowed. So, his eyes came back to mine, tired and careful. So Logan is my best friend. There it was. The wall. Not anger. Not rejection. Something worse. Responsibility. I nodded like my chest did not just fold in on itself. Right. Ethan. No, I get it. I got into the car before he could say anything else. The passenger seat felt strange at first, because Noah drove us to the empty highway ramp before switching places. Neither of us talked. When I finally took the wheel, my hands were calmer than my heart. Noah watched the road, not me. Signal left. I did. Check your mirror. I did. Now merge. I pressed the gas, slid into the lane, and for a moment the car moved perfectly. Smooth. Confident. Exactly like he taught me. Good, Noah murmured. It should have felt like winning. Instead, all I could think was that I was learning how to move forward while he was already pulling away. Noah did not pull away all at once. That would have been easier to hate. He still showed up for lessons. Still corrected my turns. Still reminded me to breathe before changing lanes. Still looked at me sometimes like he had forgotten he was trying not to. But every time the car got too quiet, he found a reason to make it about driving again. Check your mirror. Ease off the gas. Watch the speed limit. It was almost funny. The more confident I got behind the wheel, the more careful he became beside me. By Thursday evening, I was done pretending I did not notice. We were parked outside a closed strip mall after practicing parallel parking for half an hour. I had nailed it twice. Noah looked genuinely proud the first time, then immediately hid it behind a stupid comment about not embarrassing him at the DMV. Normally, I would have laughed. Instead, I kept both hands on the wheel and stared at the empty storefront ahead of us. Are you mad at me? Noah turned his head. What? You heard me. His fingers tightened around the seatbelt across his chest. No. Then why does it feel like you are punishing me for something neither of us said out loud? The air in the car changed fast. His eyes moved to the windshield, then to his hands, then back to me. He looked tired again. Not work tired. Me tired. This tired. I am not punishing you. You are acting like I made it up. My voice came out rougher than I meant it to. Like the overlook did not happen. Like your coworker did not notice. Like you did not say this was not nothing. Noah closed his eyes for a second. When he opened them, the calm was gone. Not completely, but enough. I know what I said. Then stop acting like you regret it. That landed. I saw it in his face before he looked away. His jaw worked once, and for a second, he seemed like he might just tell me to drive home. Instead, he unbuckled his seatbelt. The click sounded too loud. I froze. Noah did not get out. He just shifted toward me, one elbow against the center console, close enough that I could smell the mint gum he always kept in the door pocket. I do not regret it. My chest tightened so fast it almost hurt. You do a good impression of someone who does. He let out a quiet breath that was almost a laugh, except there was nothing funny in it. Because if I do not pull back, I do not know where this goes. I looked at him then. Really looked. The dashboard lights caught the side of his face, the small crease between his eyebrows, the way his hand kept flexing like he wanted to reach for something and kept telling himself not to. Maybe it goes somewhere, I said. My voice was barely steady. Noah's eyes lifted to mine. There was no joke there. No easy shield. That is what scares me. I forgot how to answer. Outside, a cart rolled slowly across the parking lot, pushed by the wind, squeaking like the universe had terrible timing. Neither of us moved. Noah rubbed his thumb along the edge of the console, not touching me, but close enough that I felt the almost of it. Logan trusts me, he said quietly. Your family trusts me. I have been in your house for years. I cannot just act like that does not matter. I am not asking you to. Then what are you asking? That question should have been simple. It was not. Because I wanted too many things at once. I wanted him to stop being careful. I wanted Logan to not matter. I wanted the last few weeks to be just driving lessons so I could go back to breathing normally. But most of all, I wanted Noah to admit I was not the only one losing my mind. So I said the smallest truth I could survive. I just want to know if it felt real to you. Noah went still. His eyes stayed on mine, and the silence after that was so long I almost took the question back. Then his hand moved. Slow. Careful. He placed it over mine where it rested on the gear shift. Not to teach me. Not to correct me. Just to hold me there. My heart started pounding. His thumb brushed once over my knuckle. Yes, he murmured. It felt real. I could not breathe. Not because I was nervous. Because for the first time, the thing I had been trying to explain away stood right in front of me with nowhere to hide. Noah looked down at our hands, then back at me. And I did not want you to leave that night. My throat went tight. At the Overlook? He nodded. At the Overlook. At the garage. Every time you get out of this car, and I have to act normal. The words hit so hard I had to look away. Not because I did not want them. Because I did. Too much. Noah squeezed my hand once, then let go before it could become something neither of us knew how to stop. But wanting something does not automatically make it fair. I hated that he was right. I hated more that he was still close. So what now? His eyes moved over my face, softer than before. Now you pass your test. I laughed once, small and shaky. That is your answer? No, his mouth tilted, but it did not reach his eyes. That is the only part one know how to control. We drove home after that. Quiet, but different. Not fixed. Not simple. Just honest enough to hurt. When he pulled into my driveway, Logan was outside tossing trash bags into the bin. Noah's hand dropped from the wheel like even being seen sitting too still beside me was dangerous. Logan waved, completely clueless. How did he do? Noah looked at me for half a second before answering. He is ready. My stomach twisted, because the way he said it did not sound like he was only talking about the test. The night before my test, Noah canceled practice with a text that felt too clean. Something came up at the garage. You are ready anyway. That was it. No coffee emoji. No stupid warning about mailboxes. No see you tomorrow. I stared at the screen until my eyes hurt, waiting for the 3 little dots to come back. They did not. I told myself not to be dramatic. People got busy. Cars broke down. Garages had emergencies. None of that explained why my stomach felt like I had missed a step in the dark. Downstairs, Logan was watching a game too loud, yelling at the television like the quarterback could hear him. I sat on my bed with my permit on the nightstand and my phone in my hand, trying not to text Noah something pathetic. Are we okay? Did you change your mind? Did saying it felt real make you wish you had not? I typed none of it. Around 10, Logan knocked once and walked in without waiting, because boundaries had apparently never reached our family. You good? I locked my phone too fast. Yeah. His eyes went straight to my hand. You nervous about tomorrow? Obviously. He leaned against the doorframe, softer than usual. You will pass. Noah would not let you take it if you were not ready. Hearing his name made my chest tighten. I picked at a loose thread on my blanket. Yeah. He is very responsible. Logan snorted. That sounded weirdly bitter. It was not. Okay. He studied me for a second. Too long. Did you two fight or something? My heart kicked hard. Why would we fight? I do not know. You have both been acting like someone died. I looked up before I could stop myself. Both. Logan's face changed slightly, like he realized he had stepped into something he had not meant to find. He was quiet today at the garage, snapped at Maya over nothing, then told me he was swamped and left early. My throat went dry. Noah had lied. Or not lied. Maybe he had been swamped. Maybe leaving early was exactly what people did when they needed space from a mistake. Logan tilted his head. Ethan, I am tired. The words came out flat. He raised both hands. Fine. Just do not get in your head before tomorrow. Too late. After he left, I opened Noah's message again. Something came up at the garage. You are ready anyway. You are ready anyway. Like he was already stepping out of the passenger seat before I had even passed. The next morning, Noah did not come to the DMV. Logan drove me instead. He acted like it was normal, blasting old rock music and telling me about the one time he failed his first driving test for rolling through a stop sign. I nodded in the right places, but my eyes kept checking every car in the lot. No faded Honda. No black hoodie. No Noah leaning against the hood with coffee like he had not been avoiding me. He texted me. Logan said while we parked. I froze with my hand on the door handle. Who? Logan gave me a look. Noah. Said to tell you good luck. Good luck. Not I will see you after. Not you have got this. Not I am sorry I am not there. Just good luck, filtered through my brother like I was someone he did not know how to reach directly anymore. The test itself was a blur. I signaled. I checked mirrors. I stopped fully, maybe too fully, at every stop sign. The examiner, a woman with tired eyes and a coffee stain on her sleeve, gave me directions in a voice that made everything feel more serious than it was. I did everything Noah taught me. Ease off the brake. Do not fight the wheel. Breathe. I hated that his voice helped. I hated that I passed because of him while feeling like I had already lost him. When the examiner told me I passed, Logan whooped so loud in the parking lot that 3 people turned around. He hugged me with one arm and slapped my back. Look at you, a menace to society. I laughed because I was supposed to. My phone buzzed in my pocket. For 1 second, hope hit me so hard I almost dropped it. It was Noah. Proud of you. For words. My chest twisted. I typed, thanks. Then I stared at it. Cold. Small. Nothing like what I wanted to say. Logan was already calling Mom, telling her the news. I stepped away toward the edge of the parking lot and called Noah before I could talk myself out of it. It rang once, twice, then went to voicemail. I stood there with my new license paper in my hand, feeling stupid in broad daylight. A minute later, a text came through. Sorry. Busy. That was the moment I misunderstood everything on purpose. Because it was easier to believe Noah regretted it than to keep hoping he was just scared. I put my phone away before I could embarrass myself further. Logan walked over, still grinning. Mom wants dinner tonight. Your choice. I nodded. Cool. He bumped my shoulder. You should text Noah. He will be happy. I looked across the lot at the empty space where his car was not. Yeah, I said quietly. Maybe. That evening, I drove alone for the first time. Just around the neighborhood. Nothing big. The passenger seat sat empty beside me, and somehow that felt louder than traffic. At a red light, I caught myself glancing over like Noah might be there, telling me I was gripping the wheel too hard. But there was only the cup holder, the old receipt from last week, and the gum he had left behind. The light turned green. I did not move right away. Someone honked behind me. I drove forward, laughing once under my breath because it hurt too much not to. I had passed the test. I was finally allowed to go anywhere. And all I wanted was the one person who had stopped showing up. I found the receipt in the cup holder because I was cleaning the car like a person who had completely lost his mind. It was not even my car. It was my mom's old sedan, the one she let me borrow after I passed. But I had driven it twice, and somehow there were already napkins, gum wrappers, and a coffee receipt shoved beside the gear shift. Noah's coffee receipt. From the week, he brought me the drink with no sugar and extra cold foam. I almost threw it away. Then I saw writing on the back. You were never just a lesson. My whole body stopped. For a second, I just sat there in the driveway with the driver's door open and one foot on the ground, staring at those 6 words like they might rearrange themselves into something safer. They did not. His handwriting was messy, slanted, a little rushed, like he had written it before he could talk himself out of it. My chest tightened so hard I had to breathe through my nose. Then I got angry. Not loud angry. Worse, quiet angry. Because he could write that on a receipt, but he could not pick up the phone. He could tell me it felt real, then disappear behind my brother, the garage. Responsibility. Good luck. Proud of you. Sorry, busy? No. I started the car before I had a plan. My hands shook at the first stop sign. Not from driving. I was good at that now. Noah had made sure of it. The garage was almost closed when I pulled in, the lot empty except for his Honda and Maya's old Jeep near the office. The big bay door was halfway down. Noah was inside, wiping down a workbench, shoulders tense before he even turned around. Like he already knew it was me. I stepped out with the receipt in my hand. He looked at it, then at me. His face changed. Ethan. I walked closer, stopping a few feet away because any closer felt dangerous. Were you ever going to say this out loud? Noah's rag went still in his hand. The garage hummed around us. Fluorescent lights. A radio somewhere in the office. Tires stacked against the wall. Nothing romantic. Nothing easy. I wanted to. I laughed once. It came out rough. That is not an answer. His eyes dropped to the floor. I know. You missed my test. He flinched. Barely. But I saw it. I know. You sent good luck through Logan. I know. Stop saying that. My voice cracked, and I hated it. Noah set the rag down carefully, like moving too fast might break something. I thought showing up would make it worse. For who? He looked at me then. Really looked. For everyone. That sounds like a nice way to say for you. The silence after that hit harder than yelling. Noah ran a hand through his hair, leaving a faint streak of grease near his temple. He looked exhausted. Not distant. Exhausted. You think I wanted to stay away? I held up the receipt. I do not know what you want. That is the problem. He took one step closer. I did not move back. I want to not blow up your life. It is my life. And Logan is my best friend. I know. Now I was the one saying it, and it tasted awful. Noah's jaw tightened. He trusted me with you. He trusted you to teach me how to drive. You did. My hand curled around the receipt. Everything after that is not his decision. Noah looked toward the office window. Maya was not there, but the habit was. Checking. Worrying. Measuring who might see. That hurt more than I expected. Do you want me to leave? I asked. His eyes came back fast. No, too quick. Too honest. The word hung between us. I swallowed. Then stopped making me feel like I should. His face softened, and for a second I saw the Noah from the car again. The one who noticed my coffee, my hands, the way I forgot to breathe. He stepped closer, slower this time. I got scared. My throat tightened. Of Logan. Of wanting this more than I was supposed to. That shut me up. Noah looked down at his hands, then opened them like he did not know what to do with them. I kept telling myself it was driving lessons. Then you would laugh at something stupid, or look over at me at a red light, and I would forget the rule I was trying to follow. I could barely breathe. What rule? His eyes lifted. Do not fall for my best friend's little brother. The words landed soft and heavy at the same time. I stared at him, all the anger draining into something shakier. I am not a kid. I know. And I am not confused. His voice lowered. I know that too. I took the last step before I could lose my nerve. Close enough now to see the grease on his wrist, the tiredness under his eyes, the way his breathing changed when I did not back away. Then ask me. Noah's eyebrows pulled together. Ask you what? If it is real. His gaze moved over my face, careful and wrecked. For a moment, neither of us said anything. Then he reached out, not touching yet, just offering his hand in the small space between us. Is it real for you, Ethan? I looked at his hand. Then I took it. His fingers closed around mine, warm and steady, but not teaching me anything this time. It stopped being just lessons a long time ago. Noah exhaled like he had been holding that breath for weeks. His thumb brushed my knuckle once. The garage door rattled behind us in the wind, and neither of us looked away. We had not fixed everything. Logan still existed. The world still existed. But for the first time, Noah was not hiding behind any of it. And I was not leaving. Noah did not let go of my hand until the garage door finished rattling behind us. Even then, he only loosened his grip, like he was giving me a chance to pull away. I did not. His eyes dropped to our hands, and something about his face changed. Not a smile exactly. More like relief, trying not to show itself too much. Okay, he whispered. I let out a small laugh because my chest felt too full and too tight at the same time. That is all you have. His mouth tilted. I am trying not to mess this up. You already did that part. He looked at me, startled, then laughed under his breath. The sound made the whole garage feel less cold. Fair. We stood there for another second, surrounded by tools, old tires, and the smell of motor oil, holding hands like it was both the easiest and hardest thing in the world. Then the office door opened. Maya stepped out with her purse over one shoulder, stopped mid-step, and looked directly at our hands. Noah stiffened. I felt it instantly. That old reflex. Pull away. Make it normal. Pretend. But this time, he did not move. Neither did I. Maya's eyebrows lifted. Then her face softened like she had been waiting for us to stop being idiots. Finally, she muttered. Noah closed his eyes. Maya. What? I said nothing. You literally said finally. She walked past us toward her Jeep, smiling too much. Congratulations on using words, boys. The door shut behind her before either of us could answer. I looked at Noah. He looked embarrassed, annoyed, and a little happy all at once. People notice things, I said quietly. He squeezed my hand once. Yeah. Still scared. Noah took a breath, glancing toward the street outside, then back at me. Yeah. My stomach dipped. Then he added, but not enough to let go. That was not a big speech. It was not dramatic. It was just Noah, standing in a garage after closing, choosing to keep his hand around mine when pretending would have been easier. Somehow, that meant more than anything else he could have said. We did not tell Logan that night. Not in some huge, messy confession in the driveway. We were not ready for that. But Noah drove me home, and this time I sat in the passenger seat because I wanted to, not because I needed another lesson. The car felt different. Same faded pine air freshener. Same gum in the door. Same quiet streets sliding past the windows. But there was no excuse sitting between us anymore. At a red light, Noah reached over and rested his hand palm up on the center console. He did not look at me. He did not pressure me. He just left it there. I looked at his hand, then out at the road, then back at him. You know, I said, placing my hand in his. I am technically a licensed driver now. His thumb moved over mine, slow and careful. Technically, the state of Ohio believes in me. That is concerning. I laughed, and this time nothing in me tried to hide it. Noah glanced over, and his smile was soft enough to hurt in the best way. I believe in you too. I hated how simple that was. I hated how much I needed to hear it. When we pulled into my driveway, Logan was on the porch again, phone in one hand, hoodie half zipped, looking like he had been born to interrupt important moments. Noah's hand was still in mine. For 1 second, both of us froze. Logan looked at the car, then at us, then at our hands. My heart stopped. Noah's grip twitched, not pulling away, just asking without words. I held on tighter. Logan's expression changed slowly. Confusion first, then realization, then something I could not read. He walked down 2 porch steps, quiet for once. Are you serious? My throat went dry. Noah sat up straighter beside me. Logan, I should have told you. Logan looked at him, then at me. I asked if you were serious. I forced myself to breathe. Yeah. A long silence stretched across the driveway. Then Logan rubbed both hands over his face and groaned. I knew the boyfriend jokes were too accurate. I blinked. That is your reaction? I am processing. He pointed at Noah. You are still buying dinner. Noah let out a breath that sounded almost like a laugh. Fair. Logan pointed at me next. And you are never allowed to be smug about passing your test, because apparently you needed romantic motivation. My face burned. Go inside. Gladly. He turned toward the porch, then stopped. His voice got quieter. Just do not hurt each other, okay? That was the first thing that really got me. Not the jokes. Not the awkwardness. That. Noah nodded, serious now. I will not. Logan looked at me. I nodded too. Then he went inside, leaving the porch light glowing behind him. For a moment, neither of us moved. The driveway was quiet. The kind of quiet that used to make me panic. Now it felt like space. Noah looked down at our hands, still joined over the console. You okay? I smiled a little. Yeah. And I meant it. A few weeks later, we still drove together sometimes. Not because I needed practice. Not because Logan asked. Sometimes we got coffee after Noah closed the garage. Sometimes I drove, and he sat beside me pretending not to criticize my turns. Sometimes he still put his hand over mine, but now it was not to correct the wheel. It was just because he could. Looking back, I used to think getting my license would be the thing that made me feel free. And maybe it did, in a way. But freedom was not just driving alone. It was choosing where to go. Choosing who got to sit beside you. Choosing not to pull your hand away when the world finally looked. Noah taught me how to drive. But somewhere between the parking lot, the rain, the red lights, and all those things we were too scared to say, he taught me something else too. Sometimes the road changes your life. Sometimes it is the person brave enough to stay in the passenger seat while you figure out where you are going.